We're continuing our study of the artwork of Alexander Calder. When you have a sculpture that sits on the table, it is called a stabilizer. When you have something that hangs from the ceiling, it's called a mobile. There's all kinds of mobiles that are used all the time. Very often you think of them above a little baby's crib that you can see while the baby's on its back. It can see all these bright colors and movement. And so this is the kind of thing that Alexander Calder worked on. Now, for your assignment, you can really make any kind of mobile that you want. It's something that has some sort of structure and strings that hang down from it. So I was trying to figure out how to make a mobile with things that I have around the house. So you can either choose to make my type of mobile or something else that you would like. Now, when I looked at Alexander Calder, I noticed that some of his mobiles were abstract. They were just colored shapes, and they were on a series of wires. He was very interested in what was called sculptures that were kinetic, which means they were moving. Sometimes they even had motors in them so that they could always be in continuous movement. Whereas regular mobiles, the kind of things that we might see around our house, like a wind chime or something over a baby's crib, would tend to move with the wind, but they could have motors in them. I was also looking at some of his other work and noticed that he was very interested in wire and faces. So we know before that he was interested in the circus themes. He was also interested in faces out of wire and abstract shapes. So I used the idea of the face in putting my mobile together. And here's an example of mine here where you can see that I used a paper plate, I used an old egg carton, I used some string to be able to create my mobile here. I also colored it with primary colors because a lot of his mobiles were primary colors. You can see that a sculpture you should be able to see from all sides. There shouldn't just be any front or back. So you can see here, I colored the back so that I'd have my eyes, nose, and mouth so that you could see it from both sides. So no matter which way the wind is blowing, you'd be able to get a face. So I'm going to walk you through how I put together my mobile. First of all, you're going to need it needs to be hung from somewhere. So it needs some sort of apparatus that you can have to hang it from. I just happen to have around the house some paper plates, and I decided that a plate looks very much like a face, which was great because he does faces. So I thought, oh, well, that works. And I thought instead of just cutting out the middle, I would use the top of the plate to create the look of hair, so it would kind of have open and space, okay? I also needed a hole punch because I needed to put holes, and I thought, well, my two eyes could suspend down from the plate, and then I could have a middle string that I could string through the lips and the nose and then tie it that way from the top. So let me just show you how I went through this. Oh, I also had an old egg carton, and I always thought, gee, the sections of the egg carton I think look like eyes. The middle piece here I think looks like a nose. In this one here, I have some bottle tops. I have some bottle tops here that you can glue inside, but then on this side, I just colored it with a crayon and a Sharpie. And then I also thought that the edge of the carton, there was a piece here that I thought looked like lips. You could cut these to look like lips, but there was a piece that that I had here that I thought looked like lips. So let me give you an idea of how I managed to put this together. I took my egg carton. They're pretty easy to cut. And just started to cut out the eyes. Right here. Now I'm going to need a place to put a hole so that I can tie a string to it. So I just tried to trim it, and you can see it's very easy to, don't get so close to the edge, but it's very easy to hole punch so that you can create an eye. So I did that with both, with two of them. Now you can see here I have some flip top water bottles. I originally was going to glue this whole thing in, which would be cool, but the only thing you have to be very careful of is when you do a mobile is weight. I didn't want something that would be too heavy. So I would say if you can really get it glued in and it will balance, that's fine. If not, I just flipped up the top of the cap and cut it off. If you don't have any caps, that's fine. You can always just draw on it to create your eyeballs if you want to go with a face design. The nose I took from here, I just flattened it and put some holes in it. Now as far as the lips are concerned, I had another piece that I thought looked more like lips, but since I don't have that piece at the moment, I can just take another piece here. Very easy to rip apart, and I can create lips. Or any kind of mouth. Maybe this mouth I would want more like a jack-o'-lantern with teeth or something, or maybe fangs, or, you know, any kind of mouth that could look fun and funny on your mobile. Depends on how you want it to look. Now, I took this part here and I decided to make it into a head. Now, if these pieces weren't overcrowded, I just could cut this middle part out. But what I decided to do is I wanted to leave some of this to make his hair. So I just cut across here, across the bottom, and then cut the circular piece out here. Okay. And I thought that it would look cool if this wasn't so close, because then I'd have more space to be able to do the nose and lips. So I just decided to take this up here and make it look more like hair. Now, if I wanted it to look like curly hair, I could always just take a pencil and roll it up a little bit. So I can have some fun with my hairstyle if I want it to look different. So I can do that on both sides. So there's a lot you can do with the hair. Notch it around, make it look different. You don't have to do it the same on both sides, but I kind of like that symmetry. So I probably, if I'm going to roll one, I'm probably going to roll another one up. You can see here the paper plate's very forgiving. You can get some nice rolls on it. Okay, but you must have some structure on which to hang your things from. So this could be a stick, this could be a hanger, this could be a set of sticks crossed in the middle. I just did a simple plate shape, and then you have to find a place for the balance. So you have to have a hole, not too close to the edge, where you have to thread for it to be able to hang up in the middle. And then I needed to have a thread that went straight down for the nose and mouth. Then on either side, I left some space. Let's see. Yep, left some space here for the eyes. And I wanted them equidistant on both sides. Okay? And you can see in no time at all, you're really starting to get your face together. And you have lips. You have your eyes here, you have your nose. And the reason I have 2 holes in this, some things you might need 2 holes because I wanted it to flatten, because I wanted the string to go all the way through. So you can see, once I start putting this all together, it's just a question of what do I want to color, what do I want to add to it, and how do I want to string it up. And the way to string it is just very simple. Take a piece of string here. Now I just happen to have colored string. You might not have a lot of string at home. You can use yarn, but also your good old, dental floss or fishing line will work just as well too if you don't have an assortment of strings. You just need to find a way to thread it up so that you'll be able to hang it, because that is the definition of mobile. It has to hang from the ceiling. I like to double mine, cut it, and then tie it through. Okay. It's good when you have a loop like this for the top, because if you just tie it right on, sometimes you pull and it rips your plate. Whereas if you double it and put it through a loop like this, and then put your ends through like this, you see it's nice and gentle. It's an even distribution of weight, and you're not just going to pull it tight and rip your plate, because I would say that's probably the biggest problem that would happen, would be ripping your plate. And then from this point on, see how far? Okay, how far do I want my lips to go? I'd say probably about here. Now you can either double loop it like this or just leave it as one continuous string. I think I'm just going to do it as a continuous string here. Cut that. And I'm doing the lips first. And then I'm going to come up through the nose, and then I'm going to do the eyes separate. I'm going to Now for the eyes, if I want them to be the same size, I need to use the same size string. Because if I don't, they're just going to be lopsided. But you know what? If you want your face to be more abstract, you can, make it that way if you want. It's totally up to you. But you can see here how I'm going to tie the eyes on. And again, all the pieces will be moving, which makes it a kinetic sculpture. Okay, you get the idea about how the face is coming together. You can see that I've made it super simple, but before I tie it up, You can decorate it or decorate it after, it doesn't matter. I think it's easier to color it before the pieces, but you can see in no time, you can add all the pieces together and you can get a really cool, interesting mobile face. So again, if you want to try a different type of a mobile that you can put, hang up, that's fine. But this one you can do this one as a face if you choose to do it, because it's really simple with things that you have around the house. If you don't have paper plates, you can always do it with regular piece of paper. If you don't have the egg cartons, you can use some other container, or you can just cut out shapes. But the whole idea is to have all the different parts moving so that when the wind hits it, it can twirl around in circles, and so that there is no side that isn't colored or you can't see that there's part of the face. So again, I'll be very much looking forward to the pictures you're going to send me, the different types of mobiles that you're going to be making. You can add a theme and you can do it any number of ways, or if you just want to try it like mine where it's just the face, that's fine too. So enjoy and have fun. Bye.